Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Stacy McGrath, and this is my husband Daryl. We are volunteer chairs of the Pan Ohio Hope Ride. And I guess I could share my screen. We're not going to share the screen the whole night tonight, but I do want to just share a little bit before we get started here. Some introductions, and then we will roll right in because we have a lot to cover. So welcome everyone to Pan Ohio 101. Super excited that we are just 1 month out from this year's Pan Ohio Hope Ride, and
You can
hopefully
get the food out and heat yourself something.
sure.
Sorry, that's
All right, so I will selectively mute people if I have to. That's okay. All right.
Blame the cat. Blame the cat, Kathleen.
But seriously, it happens. But we're excited you're here. I'm super excited to see a lot of familiar faces and new faces here. Hopefully everyone gets all their questions answered tonight, and I'm just excited to see everyone in a month. So again, I'm Stacy. This is Daryl McGrath. We're the volunteer chairs of Pan Ohio, and we're going to be hosting a panel discussion tonight with our amazing ACS staff team of Alyssa Hancock, Bob Duncan, and Leanne Dennison. So we're going to kind of roll right in. I'm going to stop the screen share so we can see faces while we do it, but just a couple quick notes before we start. Daryl mentioned it already, but yeah, I would ask if you do keep your microphones muted to minimize background noise and echo for everyone. But this is interactive. That doesn't mean just sit there and listen passively. Daryl mentioned it already, but there's a chat function, and we would love to see your questions in the chat as we go. Returning riders, if you have some super helpful tips that have helped you in your prior years of Pan Ohio, feel free to chime in with those in the chat as well. And at the end of our panel discussion, we'll probably have some time for more open discussion and socializing. And at that point, I would love to hear some more voices and people could come off mute. But in the meantime, I really want you to stay interactive in the chat. And if there's anything that you feel like we don't go into enough depth on and that you'd like to hear more on, feel free to drop it and we'll monitor that and make sure we pick that up for you. So I will come back to that at the end. I'm going to pop this up here now and at the end to make sure everyone gets these numbers. Hopefully everyone saw your email yesterday afternoon with the Pan Ohio guidebook for this year. A rider guidebook is out and there's all kinds of great information, but those numbers, I'll share them again at the end. I want to make sure you get those saved in your phones so you're ready for those ahead of time. All right. So with that, I'm going to do a little bit more introduction of all of our staff team and our host today. Again, I'm Stacy. I started riding Pan Ohio in 2008. It was my first year. So I've been around for all except the very first Pan Ohio. 12 of those years I was just a rider. And then 5 years ago, Daryl and I became chairs of the event. Love it. Obviously, it's very near and dear to my heart and just super excited about this year. You want to say a few words?
I joined Pan Ohio on her 10th year after meeting her on a ride and her saying, "This is my last year. I swear this is my last year." 10 years and I'm out. No.
Yeah,
so here
that
we
was
are.
going to be done and done. That's right.
But you probably said that every year.
It'll be interesting. Maybe we'll do a poll later of how many people thought they were going to do Pan Ohio as a once in a lifetime thing. And yet here we are year after year coming back. If you are new this year, you're in for a real treat. It's not just a bike ride. It's a really incredible community of people. And I hope you fall in love with it as much as we did this year. With that, I want to just give a quick introduction of our staff team. I'll start with you, Alyssa, if you want to give a quick shout out. Hello. This is what, your 6th year of Pan Ohio, and how many years with ACS, and maybe a favorite Pan Ohio memory?
Okay, so first of all, I have no voice, so I'm really sorry in advance. I sound a little ridiculous, but my name's Alyssa. I have been with ACS for going on 12 years now. And right, I think it's going on 12, or is it going on 11? It all kind of blends together. But I've been with Pan Ohio this is my 6th season with Pan Ohio. So like half my time with the American Cancer Society has been with this incredible group of people. If you know me, have met me, you know how much I love this event and how much I love all of our riders and our committee and volunteers and everybody that helps make this event happen. I have a great staff team that I work with. And I cannot wait to see you guys next month. So it's going to be awesome. My favorite Pan Ohio memory, there's probably 2. It's a tie between the year, actually they were both in 2019, actually. One of them was when we hit the highest record-breaking year that we had ever had. I was with Stacy and a couple other volunteers when we were all at a water stop, and it was awesome, pandemonium. We were super excited. But then later on, actually it may have been that same day, Yeah, because that was at Ariel, and then we went to Otterbein, and we found out that we weren't getting real pillows, we were getting inflatable pillows. And so we fondly refer to that year as Pillowgate, because we ended up doing a IKEA run and going and buying every single pillow that the Columbus IKEA had in stock. So it was definitely a fun time. It was chaos and stress in the moment, but looking back is just a fun thing to laugh at and a great memory. So those type of things are what this event memories are made.
Thank you. Our next staff member, Bob Duncan, is with us for his second Pan Ohio Hope Ride. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Bob if you missed it. We were chatting before the call, but we're going to go easy on Bob tonight because he's got some exhaustion going on, because Bob just became a finisher of the world's most difficult bicycle race across America, RAAM. He finished with a 4-man team in I'll let him tell you, 6 hours and 9 minutes, top in his category of males 50 to 59, and third overall among 4-person teams this year. So huge congratulations. Shout out to Bob Duncan for, you think riding across Ohio is hard? Bob just rode across the country with a 4-man relay team. Pretty amazing. So anyway, he's in his second year with Pan Ohio. Bob, I'll let you share whatever else you want to share, and maybe your favorite memory from last year's Pan Ohio.
Sure. So I'm Bob Duncan. I've been with the society a little less than 2 years. So this will be my second Pan Ohio. I've competed in racing all across the world at kind of every level and all kinds of endurance stuff. And I was really shocked and blown away at how cool and different Pan Ohio is. It's definitely not a pay-to-play kind of scene. It's definitely a family. And I can remember last year, this is my high point. I don't know if Mark will remember, but we were sitting with some of his team well into the night, and I was just asking questions about and trying to figure out, and just the passion that his team and he had was just, it's kind of awe-inspiring when you realize how few people we have that raise so much money, and that it's got to be way more than just about the bike. And that's when you boil endurance events down to why you do them, inevitably finishing is cool, but the journey is cooler. And the journey with Pan Ohio and the people who partake are definitely my high point.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome back. Congratulations again. Hopefully you're getting some rest. And then our third staff member actually is a longtime familiar face to Pan Ohio. Has been around Pan Ohio for like 10 years as a rider and a team captain and a volunteer. And then last year became a staff member as well. So let's give it up for Leanne Dennison if you want to share a quick favorite Pan Ohio memory.
Well, I'm not an endurance cyclist by trade. I am the slowpoke, but I love riding and I hate cancer. And so I decided to join back in 2013. And I've been coming back year after year in various capacities. I tend to call myself the caboose of the Pan Ohio, the last person in. And one of the things, it's not an individual memory, but it's a compiled memory, is by the end of the ride, almost everybody recognizes me because so many people pass me and say, "Hi, Leanne," from reading my bib, that by the end of the ride, I'm like, all these people are like, "Oh, hey, Leanne, hi, Leanne." And so I really enjoyed that about Pan Ohio. Last year, getting to see so much more of the ride than I usually did when I was riding the ride, being able to see people at the stops and welcome people into the stops and stuff as a volunteer photographer was definitely a highlight.
Awesome. So thank you. And again, I think what you all just said sort of highlights what I love most about Pan Ohio is that we are a very diverse community. Yeah, we're a bike ride, but that doesn't mean you have to be an elite cyclist like Bob. Very casual riders have a place here too. So if you're new and worried about how you're going to finish this biggest, maybe the biggest athletic or bike event you've ever taken on in your life, that's cool. We got you. We're going to take care of you. And we have space here for everyone. And I kind of love the diversity of cycling styles and ridership that we get in Pan Ohio. So with that, I want to dive in. I know you all have many questions and want to know, like, okay, so what's happening? We've got about 30 days, 1 month from today, on July 24th, we will be gathering at John Carroll University for our kickoff dinner. So want to just start with, how do we get ready for this? You know, what do we do between now and then, and in that week leading up to it? Like, what do you need? And what do we need to do? Like, Bob, I could say, like, if you know you have a big event coming up in a month, what can people be doing to prepare right now as far as taking care of their bike and any last minute training tips in the next month?
Sure. So bike is pretty straightforward. About 2 weeks prior minimum, make sure you have a tune-up, or if you haven't had one annually, make sure everything's functioning properly and that somebody other than you has gone through it, because you'll miss stuff that other people will notice, whether it's another cyclist or a trained mechanic. Have somebody ride your bike, go through it, look for anything that could possibly be wrong. Physically, most of your training is in the bank. The only thing that I'd really encourage people to do is take time to ride in the heat of the day, because if you're used to riding at night or wintertime or on the trainer or Saturday morning, you're going to have a lot of time out in the afternoon sun. So know what your hydration plan looks like when you're actually out in the heat of the day.
No, that's good. Hopefully everyone's been following some training plan of some sort. But yeah, I think acclimating to heat is a great thing to do now. Ed dropped another good note of things that you can do right now, a month out. Today is the deadline if you have not filled out your lodging and transportation form. Today is the cutoff on that. Obviously, if you haven't filled it out by now, you're going to start getting follow-ups from our staff members saying, hey, we need this. Even if you are booking your own hotel rooms, you're staying in hotels, we still need to know that. And we need to know your transportation and food requirements. So if someone wouldn't mind dropping a link to that form in the chat, it was also in the email you got yesterday. So those are the things you could do a month out. So let's talk about, okay, a week out. Maybe it's time to start thinking about what you're bringing with you. Leanne, can you give us a little rundown on like, what do I need to bring with me if I'm coming to this?
One of the things that I always start with is making a list as I go leading up to the event. So I start thinking about any kind of weather that I'm going to be facing, because we ride rain or shine. So you might want to have, your rain jacket for riding, things like that. And I just keep adding to things as I'm getting closer, as I think of them, so that I don't have to sit down like a day or 2 days before the ride and go, okay, now what do I pack? You want to make sure that you have basic necessities, your toiletries, your hygiene items, clean underwear. Mom always said, wear clean underwear. Of course, if you're wearing, cycling shorts, you're saving the underwear for the night when you're gathering with friends, because most people don't wear it with their cycling shorts. That's a tip for newbies. You're really not supposed to wear underwear with your padded cycling shorts. You can, but you really, you want to think about it. You want to make sure that you have stuff for all weather. Bring your chargers. That's something that a lot of people forget. You're bringing your phone, you're bringing your GPS unit for your bike. Make sure you have the chargers, and maybe even get yourself a spare battery. You can get them from Amazon fairly cheaply these days and have them already charged and switch them out if you need them. So really, those are the keys. You want to have something to wear. You want to have your cycling gear, have your toiletries, and we can help you with whatever you find that you've missed.
Yeah, we got you covered. There's also an extensive packing list in that Rider Guidebook if you want to make yourself a little checklist out of that. And yeah, if you forget a toothbrush, it's okay. We got you. Daryl, what else do you bring?
But also, I mean, you mentioned like chafing.
Yeah.
Let's get right. You mentioned chafing. Bring your own preferred brand of chamois butter or chamois cream or whatever. Have that handy. Don't forget to pack that. We'll have a limited supply of it, but bring in your own.
Yeah, we try to have it.
Yeah.
We do, and we will have a supply if you forget your toothbrush. We have some.
Yeah.
And we have chamois butter available, but some people like other brands. And on nutrition products as well. We've got water. We'll talk later about stock things, but if you have a specific nutrition or hydration product that you can't live without, you might want to consider bringing that along as well. All right, cool. Any questions on packing? Feel
40.
free to
40.
What's that?
All right. So once we get to event week, we're getting ready. We're packed. Our bikes are tuned up. We've been hydrating. We're ready to go. It's Tuesday. Alyssa, where do I go? I'd like to pick up my packet before I show up Wednesday. Can I get that ahead of time?
Oh my gosh, yes, you can. So we offer quite a few different opportunities to pick up your packet. We know that people like to make sure that they're organized ahead of time. So we want to offer you opportunities to pick up those packets early. So if you're in Cleveland, you can pick up your packet at the Cleveland office. If you are in Columbus, you so wonderfully get to go visit the McGrath household and visit Stacy and Daryl to pick up your packet there. Or if you're in the more southern part of the state, you can pick up your packet at the Cincinnati ACS office. All of those addresses are in the Rider Guidebook that you guys received yesterday via email. So when you do go pick up your packet, just make sure to pay attention to those hours that we are open and available, and come on in. We're excited to see you. Staff volunteers are going to be there greeting you. You can get you'll get in your packet. We're talking about what's in these packets now, Stacy. Yes, we want to know what we're going to get when we get there, right?
Go for it.
All right, so you're going to get there. You're going to get your packet. In that packet, you're going to get your wristband. That is going to be what you're going to wear during the entirety of the event. That's kind of like your meal ticket. It's going to get you into all of the food options. You're going to get your bib. You're going to get your bike number and a helmet number. You're going to get some luggage tags with some labels. So you're going to put your labels on your luggage tags, and we will walk you through all of this. Don't worry. We will also have in there your jerseys that you earned. If you have raised the $13.28 to earn your rider jersey, or the $5,000 or above to earn your Dynamo jersey, those will be in that packet as well, along with your rider t-shirt. You'll get a water bottle, and then we have optional goodies that you can grab from as well. So all of those things will be in your packet. I do see someone asking in the chat, can you pick up your packet at the Wednesday kickoff? Yes, just make sure you reach out to us with specific packet pickup details. If you filled out the lodging survey, you also indicated in there where you'll pick up your packet. So just if you have any changes to that, let us know, because we do try to ensure that your packet is where you want it. So we do put these all together in one central location and then send them down the state. So if you tell us you want to pick up your packet in Cleveland and then you get on the Cincinnati bus, you have to pick up your packet when you get to Cleveland, if that makes sense. So,
Hey, Alyssa. Big
yeah.
note. I think you might be registered under CYO 328.
I was just going there to say Chuck
Okay.
just in the chat. He's actually doing CYO 328, which means he wasn't Chuck. You don't have to fill out the lodging survey,
Thank you.
but if you want to pick up your packet, please let us know. Otherwise, CYO 328 packets will be mailed. So
Yeah.
if anyone is doing create your own 328s and would like to come to any of the packet pickup locations, just let us know. We'll make sure we have your packet there. So yeah, feel free to stop by. I'm going to note that as you let us know, Chuck, and we'll put your packet in the Cleveland pile for John Carroll on Wednesday. Perfect. Any other questions about packets, packet pickup? We're good. I just want to say real quickly, like packet pickup last year was actually super fun. Having everyone stop by. It was like that bonus, getting to see everyone for the first time in the year. All right. So that's Tuesday if you want. If you can't come to one of the pre-packet pickups on Tuesday, that's okay. You can also pick up your packet on Wednesday, either if you are in Cleveland when you arrive at John Carroll, or if you are coming by bus when you come to the bus. Let's talk about the buses. Jerry, you want to tell us how the busing works? How did we get to Cleveland on Wednesday?
You ride a bus.
Eddie
So,
already gave us some bus tips, by the way. So
Oh.
make sure you call these out over here.
okay, well,
Bring some beverages if you want.
Beverages, okay. Depending on how far, I mean, I'm sure most of us have already made the trip from either Cincinnati or Columbus to Cleveland. So you know how to prepare for a road trip. You should already have your packet with you. Some people will opt to actually pick up their packet at the bus check-in, so mark that. But if you already have your luggage tag and all your other tags, make sure your bike is tagged, because one of the first things you're going to want to do when you get there is take your bike and we load it onto a Penske truck. Then your bike gets taken, whisked away to Cleveland and put in bike storage for the night, and you don't have to worry about it until the morning.
Whisked away safely, nicely, securely wrapped in blankets and pads so it doesn't get injured on the drive.
Many, many blankets, yes. And then you get to ride in the comfort of an air-conditioned bus up to Cleveland, which will take you straight to John Carroll, where you will get probably greeted with a cool beverage and smiles and
and family reunion time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's when that crazy.
if you've been at Pan Ohio before, Wednesday night is our family reunion. If you're new, hopefully you're not weirded out by that because we are going to be super excited to see each other and it's fun. Wednesday, you are kind of responsible for your own luggage. So if you're taking a bus, you'll put the luggage under the bus. You'll get your own luggage. You'll have your luggage for Wednesday night. Thursday is when we will start transporting your luggage. But yeah, once your bike goes on that truck and you get on the bus, you don't have to worry about your bike again. We will take good care of it. All right. So if you're not taking a bus, Alyssa, you want to talk about getting to John Carroll parking? And if you're parking at John Carroll for the 4 days, where do we park? What do we do?
Yep, absolutely. So we are going to be parking cars in the same place that we have the past few years at Dolan Science Center. I'm very sorry. So we're going to be parking them there. Your cars, we will have designated parking. That's all signed and labeled so you know where to go. Good news is anywhere on campus, your car is not going to be towed. They know we're there. They're amazing. They take great care of us. So your car is now.
Oh, and I think she
Yeah.
froze. Okay. Cars safe there. Same thing at all of our other
Yeah.
campuses, actually. They're all pretty open about parking. But yeah, if you are taking a bus, you will receive
Nice
instructions.
and safe for the entirety of.
You froze there, Alyssa.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're back now.
Okay, it's telling me my internet connection is unstable. I haven't moved. So yeah, there will be signs for where to park. Make sure you follow the signs. But again, anywhere on campus, you're good to go to leave your car, but try to park in the designated areas. You don't need a parking pass. You're not paying for parking. So if you're driving in from out of the area, or even if you're local to Cleveland, feel free to park on campus in the designated areas. And then you can leave your car there all 4 days. Your bike and your luggage will just transfer along with everybody else as well. So park your car, hold on to those keys. Don't lose those keys because you got to know where they're at for 4 days, when you come back. But yeah, so parking is good. And then also if you're parking at Otterbein or if you're parking at the finish line, there's also designated parking for like when you go to get on your bus to come up to Cleveland.
And leave cars for the whole weekend at Otterbein if you're taking the Columbus bus, at Wright State if you're taking the Dayton bus, or at a parking area near Yateman's Cove if you're taking the Cincinnati bus. So we will give you a very specific info on where to park for the weekend. So yeah, so you'll get if you arrive on your own and park, or if you come off the bus, if you are staying on campus Wednesday night, we'll get you checked in to the dorm there at John Carroll, and then we will get going with the kickoff dinner. So we'll give Alyssa a break from talking. Leanne, can you tell us a little bit about what to expect at that kickoff dinner, timing of food, what kind of speakers we might have, and what we're doing that night? You're muted, Leanne. You're muted. There we go.
It's harder to find on this one. So we'll have a large variety of food available. You can come in, we'll have some soft and hard beverages for you that you can grab on your way to the tables and greet your friends or make new friends. Food will be laid out buffet style. We will have vegetarian and gluten-free options for people. You might need to ask. If you don't see it, don't assume it's not there. We like to take care of you. Just ask somebody if you can be pointed to what is vegan or vegetarian or gluten-free, and someone will help you. We will have a lovely presentation by a guest speaker that'll start, I believe it's right around 7. Is that what we decided on this year, 7? For the guest speaker who will tell you a little something about themselves and what the ride means to them and what the Hope Lodge means to them and things like that. So that'll be going on. We'll have some, obviously the packet pickup will be there for people who want to pick up on Wednesday nights. There will be a merchandise table with some Pan Ohio swag that you can pick up, as well as a table for the Garden of Hope, where you can buy commemorative pinwheels that we will put out at Yeatman's Cove to greet you when you come riding in.
The other thing we will have going on throughout the evening at John Carroll will be shuttles to the hotel. So if you came up on the bus and you are staying at the hotel instead of the dorm, We will have throughout the evening, starting at 2 p.m. actually through 11 p.m. shuttles from those Cleveland area hotels to John Carroll. So we'll get you where you need to go if you are not staying on campus that night. Let's see, we got any messages in the chat. Okay, so we just good question. Tiffany just asked if you originally said you'd pick up your packet day of, but want to do it the day before. Yeah, if you could email panohioinfo@cancer.org with just a blanket statement on if anything that you filled out on that form has changed, just let us know so we can update that in our records. So I'll just put, if someone could drop that email address in the chat, panohioinfo@cancer.org is the best way because that goes to all the staff members. So whoever's working that day can get that as quickly as possible. If you are camping, you will also get a camping area at the dorm. And this kind of goes through the whole weekend. If you are a camper, you will get a key so you have access to restroom and shower facilities in the dorms, but your space will be outside. But otherwise, everything else about what you're doing is the same as with the dorms. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing everyone at kickoff dinner again. It's a really fun family reunion kind of event. We keep it light, we keep it casual. Presentation is not going to be super long. But it's usually pretty inspiring with someone from the Hope Lodge speaking. So I hope you'll come check it out. Even if you live in Cleveland and you're not staying at John Carroll on Wednesday night and you're just planning on coming Thursday to ride, I hope you'll consider coming out Wednesday to join us for the dinner. And feel free to bring friends and family. Like if you want to bring some family members and bring some guests. Alyssa, do we have a limit or do they need to let us know about guests they're bringing?
If they are bringing guests, if you can just shoot us an email again at that panohioinfo@cancer.org. That would be really helpful, as well as for the finish line, just sidebar, because in the same regard, we'd like to know how many guests that we're having. So feel free to let us know by email if you have extra guests coming to either of those, and we'd be happy to accommodate.
Yeah. And yeah, we do have some extras. So if you forget, it's okay. Like if you get to Wednesday, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to email, so I can't bring my spout. Don't worry about it. We got you. All right. So that's all the pre-event. Now what we've all been waiting for, what happens when the Pan Ohio Hope Ride kicks off? Bob, can you tell us about the start line? What do I do Thursday morning? I just woke up and, oh my God, I'm about to ride my bike across Ohio. What do I do?
Well, the first thing you do is you pack your stuff from your room and make sure you have it all. Do a room sweep. You don't want to lose that phone charger on day one because it's a pain in the butt to try to find another one when you're exhausted. Part 2, get you and your luggage down and drop off the luggage at the designated area. If you don't drop off your luggage, it won't be there for you, and that's worse than missing your charger. Part 3, fuel yourself. There will be breakfast provided. Make sure you eat amply and make sure you also hydrate, especially if you partook in adult beverages the night before. Your hydration is going to be behind. Emphasize electrolytes with the hydration. Don't just pound your orange juice and coffee because you'll wear through that really quickly. So make sure you have good amounts of sodium chloride and magnesium. Some potassium would help. Gatorade, any sports drink that's quality should have all that stuff in it. Fuel yourself. Your bike will be already at the bike storage center at John Carroll, so you're going to pick that critter up. Make sure that you have some way to ID you because the person who's working bike storage probably won't let you have your bike unless you can say, that's my bike and I'm that person.
And I just want to jump in and say that means be wearing your wristband and your bib. Your bib needs to be visible on whatever jersey you're riding in that day. So you should have a number on your body that matches the number on your bike. So, sorry, Bob, go on.
Yeah, and don't think that you can switch that number up and get a cooler bike than your own.
We'll catch you.
I thought about it last year, but I couldn't figure out how to make a bib and wristband fast enough. Anyway, pretty much that's it. Start line, we all start together on day one. So kind of roll out, hang out, socialize, and be ready. Yeah.
I mentioned those hotel shuttles. Those will also start running. Alyssa, what time do those start running in the morning? If you stayed at the hotel, do you know offhand?
Yes, I do know. It is, I believe, 5:30. Those shuttles begin, I'm sorry, 5 to 7:30. Those shuttles are running 5 to 7:30.
If you're
I'm just doing this.
back to campus.
Yes.
And once I check out of the dorm, I know I got to drop my luggage and there will be signs, but what else do I need to do when I check out of that dorm, Alyssa?
Oh my gosh, you have to drop off your key. I cannot emphasize this enough. And I will be on you. I will find you and I will say, hey, Randy Hammonds, I haven't gotten your key yet. So like, I need it, because a couple years ago, we lost a lot of keys. Last year, I'm very happy to report, I think we lost 1 out of 4 days for 250 some riders. We only lost 1 key that we got charged for versus like the 50 the year before. So I will be on you. Turn in your key. There will be signs. We won't let you forget. Don't worry. We may ask you 50 times.
And you're
But
picking
we'll
on
get your key back.
Randy because Randy's great and you're not talking about Randy.
She's nice enough to not pick on me. I will say, I'm gonna admit it, I've been that person. I've rolled out of the start line before turning in my key in the past. And then I got to the stop and I'm like, oh, where's my thing? I'm like, oh, look what I found in my pocket. It's my dorm key. That's okay, right? Turn it into a staff member later that day and we'll get it back. Like, it was never Randy, it was me that forgot, let's be honest.
Obviously.
Sorry,
we're not-
Randy was right in the middle of my screen, so he got that aggressive. Yeah.
All right, so Leanne,
Someone
we-
asked in the chat, Mike wants to know what time do we leave every morning? That's a great question. So the only morning that we have like an organized start is on day 1. We have an organized start on day 1 that we like have, hold everybody, and there's a escort and everyone leaves together at the same time, and that is at 8:30. But the rest of the days it's kind of it's a rolling start, and you can leave anytime between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. We push for before 7:30 is ideal. But if you're like 8 o'clock is like the last minute that you can leave. We have some people that try to leave a little earlier. We try to keep everyone riding in the daylight. Sometimes it's still a little dark earlier than that. So we try to keep bike storage not opening until 6 o'clock. Sometimes we'll open it a little early so you can be ready to leave at 6 o'clock. But yeah, leave early to beat the heat is kind of the best way to do it. And yeah, so it's kind of up to you at that point.
And I was gonna say, we're the day 1 start. I know this is something that comes up every year. 8:30 is a little bit on the late side. But it is the only day that you have to wait until 8:30 to start. And it's for a few reasons. It's one thing because it is the only day we are in a big group. And we have been in the past asked by the different police jurisdictions in Cleveland Police to not be riding through as a big group at rush hour. Leaving a little bit later allows us time to have a nice little presentation in the morning, a good kickoff. Usually there's some media coverage and we can roll out with that escort as a group and be kind of getting through downtown Cleveland after rush hour traffic is passed. So I know that is a late start for a lot of people for a long day. Daryl, do you have any advice on how to deal with a late start on a long day and how to manage that?
Well, I will say that like all 4 days, we're gonna have breakfast provided. So make sure you take advantage of that. You want to be fueled and you want to be hydrated. But that first day, definitely take advantage of everything that we offer, the breakfast. Then we're going to have a kickoff ceremony. We're going to have a speaker.
It's not really
Usually-
a speak. I mean,
Well,
it's quick.
yeah, it's
Don't
an
get alarmed
MC
that
or
it's a
whatever.
long thing.
We
It'll
have
be like
music.
5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, we get you
DJ
pumped
though,
up.
DJ in the morning. Yeah.
We generally have photographers walking around that will take pictures of teams, take pictures of individuals. We want to document this. Then we get all of the top fundraisers or dynamos who are all wearing the same Dynamo jersey. We line them up in the front. We take pictures of them. We have the big grand kickoff. Queen will probably be played. and then we roll on out and we have a grand time.
All right. So once we're rolling,
Yeah.
Bob, where do we go? How do we know where we're going once we're on the road? We're in a group escort, and just to be clear, that group escort and staying as a group, we do want everyone to stick together, but it's only for the first couple of miles. After that, our escort will drop off and you are on your own following the rules of the road. So how do you know where to go, Bob?
Well, we're very lucky to have a crew that's outsourced called Run the Land, who actually goes out and marks the course for us. So there are ample signs, but if you're like me and you like to embrace technology, our route wizard, Daryl, also provides the ride with GPS links. So you can download them to your Garmin watch or Edge computer or whatever you have. And If you're not sure, I use what I used to tell people when I train them for their first race. Follow the person in front of you. And if you're not sure, stop and wait for someone to catch up, because it's not a race, it's a ride. And getting lost is almost as bad as losing your phone charger. So just wait, be patient, take a deep breath, have a drink, and go, oh, here's a cyclist. Maybe they've got the ride with GPS on their computer, or they saw the sign.
Though you might want to check with them that they know where they're going. Because sometimes you get in trouble following the person in front of you because they
You
don't
mean
know. anything.
Chuck, don't follow Chuck.
Well, Chuck's doing CYO, so that's good. Just be worried about Chuck on day 4. No, that's not a problem. And I will just say, you said follow the signs, follow the technology. We have a third tier for those people that are
Old school?
that like to have a printed cue sheet taped to their top tube or in their back pocket or whatever. We'll have limited supplies of those, so please don't take them if you absolutely, unless you absolutely need them, because we don't want to print one for every rider, because we know every rider doesn't take them. But we will have printed cue sheets. We print those a little bit in advance, so if there's any last minute changes to the route, those are not going to be reflected on the cue sheets, but they will be reflected on all of the signage that we put out on the route.
Perfect. Side note, we had a question in the chat about the jerseys, since we talked about when do you need to get the full amount donated in order to receive your jersey? You'll get that when, if you have met your minimum before packet pickup, you'll get your jersey at packet pickup. If you meet it, over the next day before the ride starts, basically whenever you get it, come find someone, whether that's at kickoff or at one of the daily check-ins, we can get it to you whenever you hit that during the week. And then if you hit it after the ride, we will mail it to you. So if you hit it at some point between packet pickup and the end of the ride, we'll give it to you right away. Same with Dynamo. If you hit that 5,000 level during the ride, we'll get that to you. Dynamo jerseys, we like to have worn on day one. Like Daryl mentioned, we like to invite our Dynamo Club members to lead our pack out and start at the front. And then we ask that everyone wear their official event jersey on day 4, so that we all have that official event jersey on going into the finish line. A lot of people wear their team jerseys on other days, so you can kind of check with your teams on what you're wearing other days or do what you want. Some people wear the official event jersey on days 1 and 4, or whatever. There are laundry facilities at the colleges if you want to wear that more than once. But yeah, there are also sizes, limited quantity. We obviously order the jerseys before everyone's even registered. We have extras available for people that are still registering and for some size trading. So if you try it on and it's not quite what you hoped it would be, just come find one of the staff members at check-in and they'll have extras available that you can swap out. Signage, we will show you. We do have a slide in the slideshow to show you what the signage looks like. It's also in the guidebook, but they are red signs with an ACS logo on it with white arrows on them. And then in certain situations, we may also use some orange route arrow stickers on the road. And if there's any last minute emergencies or changes or extra things we need to mark, in some cases, orange chalk spray paint on the road. If we spray anything on the road, it will always have the letters PO with an arrow next to it. Do not just go following random orange arrows on the road, because sometimes there are other reasons that someone has spray painted arrows on the road. So don't follow a spray painted arrow unless it is orange and has the letters PO. But 90%, 95%, 98% of your markings will be red signs with white arrows on them, with some orange route arrows as a supplement.
And if you do see that spray paint, it'll be very fresh. I don't think we're crisscrossing any places where we've routed before in different directions. But we do occasionally still see years old Pan Ohio routes out there.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
don't
they're all gone by now, but yeah, you never
they probably are,
know.
yeah.
You never
But
know.
it'll be super fresh. It will be like 48 hours new, probably.
So while we're out riding then, do I need to carry all the food and water I need all day? Bob, can you tell me a little bit about what kind of support I'm gonna see along the route during the day?
So this is a really fun one for me, because this is something kind of not seen or experienced by me. I've done camps where the first resupply is at 65 miles. Pan Ohio is awesome. If you can go 10 miles, you're going to have like a plethora of options for both drink and food. It's fantastic. Depending on the stop, depends on what you get, but there's no way that you should do this ride without gaining weight. There is stuff everywhere, and it's social and it's fun. So if you want to hammer one day, you could skip a stop or two and know that there's another one coming up. But you will be well supported all the way through. And let's say that for some reason you pull a dumb move and you forget to stop at aid stations and you blow up. Our fantastic SAG people will hook you up, get you to where you need to go, and they actually also carry some food and drink to support you. So there's no reason to worry out there. Start with what you think you're going to need for the first 20 or 30 miles, like a normal ride. And yeah, you'll be well supported. There's nothing that you'll be wanting for, unless it's something really unique. Like, I don't know, I got to have pickled herring at mile 30. That ain't going to happen.
And we probably won't have a phone charger with
Yeah.
us, so don't lose yours. But yeah, seriously, every, between 10 and 20 miles, depending on where in the course we are, all kinds of food and snacks, and a full lunchtime in the middle of every day too. So a full lunch meal during the day, you won't be hungry. So what if you have issues during the day, Leanne? Like, what if I'm riding and I get a flat tire, or I just feel like something else is weird with my bike or with my body, and I don't think I can make it to the next stop? What can I do? Or what if I feel like I'm lost, like I'm off course? Maybe I haven't seen a sign for a while. I don't see any riders. I'm afraid I missed a turn. What do I do?
Well, you've described almost every ride I've done with the Pan Ohio Hope Ride. So I can tell you that we have these excellent crew of SAG drivers. It stands for Support and Gear. And they carry a lot of things to help you along the way. Just a little extra in case you need hydration or something to eat or something like that. If you're just starting to wane and you're like, oh, the water stops another 5 miles and I drank through all my water because it's 90 out, they can hook you up. But they can also put your bike on the back of their vehicle and take you to the next stop and make sure that you're safe and hydrated and not suffering from any ill effects of either temperature or dehydration. There is what's called a sweep, who is my best buddy. He used to follow me all the time. He is the last SAG driver. He is the very last guy. So he makes sure that no one is ever left behind. Now, in the event that you don't see these people who are traversing the route with you, you can call them. We have 2 numbers that we're going to offer you, and Stacy put up the slide at the beginning. She's going to put it up at the end. The first number is if you need a SAG. If you need someone to come get you because you are lost, you're not feeling well, you crashed, your bike is not feeling well, you call that number. You're going to give them, we have a new implementation called What 3 Words. We're using that app this year. It's a really cool app. You can pinpoint your location within 5 square or 10 square feet and give them the 3 words from the app, and they will come and get you and take you to the next stop. And whether it's you that needs refreshed or your bike that needs the mechanic, they'll take care of that. The second number is just for general questions. Usually those are going to be the things that happen once you get to campus and you're trying to figure out where is dinner or what time, or my luggage isn't anywhere to be seen. Can you help me with this? You're going to call that number, and one of the staff members will pick it up and help you get what you need. So those 2 numbers are going to be your best friend. We encourage you to put them in your phone and label them correctly, because you don't want to be calling for information if what you need is a SAG. That's the important one. We'll try to get SAG to you, but you want to try and get SAG directly. And of course, if you have a crash or someone gets ill and it's a serious thing, use your judgment, call 911 and then call SAG. There's a chance that our ambulance and SAG driver will be closer and can help you more quickly, but never take chances. If you feel like you're in danger or someone is ill to the point of needing help, we encourage you to do that. Just make sure you let us know where you are and where you're going.
Yeah. And do let us know. Even if you do feel like you need to call 911 and you're getting treatment from someone else, let us know too. Like Leanne said, we do have an ambulance crew that travels with us. it's likely they might be closer to you than whatever 911 would dispatch, so they can get to you and help you until other help arrives if necessary. It's very rare that we've actually needed anything like that, but especially given warm weather, if things are hot, you really want to watch out for that heat, exhaustion, and dehydration as well. So we'll talk more about what 3 words a little later. We're gonna actually do a little demo of that if we have time today. I think you'll find it a good way not only to get help to you, but to find your way around once you get to campus as well. And Leanne mentioned mechanical support. So, what if I do have a flat tire and I don't know how to change it? What do I do, Daryl?
Well, we have some awesome volunteers that are bike mechanics. They work the rest of the year, they work in a shop, so they know what they're doing. And we also have a limited amount of supplies that are donated. These are volunteers, everything's donated. And they will be basically trying to lead the majority of riders out as we go. So they will be at the start line, they'll be at the start of every day. They'll try to get a little bit ahead. We know that most people will realize that they have a mechanical problem before they get to that first water stop of the day. So there will be somebody posted there. Then they'll generally go ahead to lunch. Then they might go somewhere mid-course. And then they will go to the end. If you have an issue and you can't make it to them, call SAG. They will transport you to the person. SAG is not able to take you back to where they picked you up. So that's just a function of our route. It's not going to be something, you might miss out on miles. If you carry a small amount of equipment with you, even if you don't know how to use it personally, we recommend that you bring a patch kit, spare tube, CO2 cartridge, or a frame size pump or something like that. And you're going to find somebody else on the route that knows how to use it. I've never seen somebody on the side of the road where a rider didn't pass by and say, you need help. So that's going to happen with our group. Everyone's going to offer help. They'll help when they can. Am I missing any of these guys?
No, I think that's good. And I want to switch to just amplify a couple of things. There's been some good conversation in the chat, just about the ride in general. And, we've already talked a little bit about the variety of riders that we have. That, there really are riders of all paces, from, I would say, 10 to 20 miles per hour and everything in between. Yeah, we have a couple people that will blow out 20 miles an hour and get there really fast. And we have some other people that'll ride closer to 10. Most people somewhere in between that. But yeah, whatever your pace is, you'll probably find someone that's matching it. I think Ed had some good advice in the chat. Like if I used to love riding with different people, and you're at a stop and you mingle and you chat with people, you leave out of a stop with them. If you find their pace is too quick, just drop off the back of them, and it won't be long before someone else comes up behind you, and then you can join in with them and ride with them for a while. So really don't worry about finding people to ride with. We really do have a huge variety of cyclists out there. And the other thing that came up just about route, yes, we will have the routes available for download. They'll probably be posted within the next week, but please do not download them yet. They are not final. We do a final drive of the course July 13th and 14th, just to make sure that there aren't any last minute road closures or any surprises or anything we need to change. We'll have eyes on the road to marking the route. Bob mentioned Run the Land that marks the route. They'll be out there starting a couple days ahead of the event. So if there is anything super last minute, they will catch that, Tuesday or Wednesday of that week. So you'll have the links. You can do what you want with it, but we really recommend you wait to download those until Tuesday night before you leave home, or even better yet, Wednesday night. We've got Wi-Fi on campus to just make sure you have the latest changes on that. We will also have it check in a limited number of cue sheets, like turn by turn printed out. Go this many miles and turn left at this street, and then go this many miles and turn right at that street. If you're the type of person that likes the paper copy of the turn by turn directions in your pocket, we'll have that available for you as well. So it's pretty rare. Pretty rare that people get super lost. Sometimes they do chuck miles. Sometimes that's intentional because they want to round their day up to a century. Some days they just, maybe got involved in talking to somebody and missed a sign, but it's rare. Somebody asked whether there are any neighborhoods where, people are like, I don't want this going on, that take our signs down. Like, yeah, it's rare. Most people are excited and want to cheer us on as we come through, but I can't say it's never happened. We do try Our SAG teams are also usually out ahead of the riders, and if they see, hey, here's a place where there should have been a sign and it's been taken down, we all carry extra signs and cable ties there. So if signs do get taken down, chances are there might be a few people that go through before we catch it and it gets fixed. So, you know, Leanne talked about this amazing SAG crew. They've got eyes on everything out there. So even if a sign does get taken down, typically we'll get it back up before too long. Other questions to nutrition and hydration. A little conversation going, and I recommend everyone read the chat because I think there's a lot of good advice going back and forth with some of the senior riders that have had some experience. If you like a Camelback, Carrie asked if a Camelback is better than water bottles. I know a lot of us, when we're out on our solo rides, depend on ourselves to be self-sufficient, so we have to carry water for farther distances. And if you're comfortable with that, that's cool. But we do have stops every 10 to 20 miles. If 20 miles feels like a stretch, there are a couple places where it might be far. We'll usually park a SAG vehicle on the side of the road. All the SAGs have an extra cooler with extra water and Gatorade in them too. So if you feel like you're running a little low and you don't know if you can make it to that next stop, you can flag down a SAG and they can fill you up on the side of the road as well. So just depends on you. You know, I tend to drink a lot. I hydrate a ton. I'm a big sweater. I like to keep fluid intake going. But even with that, usually 2 water bottles on my bike has always been plenty for me on Pan Ohio. And then, yeah, as far as other nutrition products, I guess actually that was it on that. Any other questions about nutrition or hydration? Again, like if that's your preference, go for it, but it's probably not necessary. Same with food. Usually it stops. I would like get to the first stop, have a snack while I'm there, and then just grab an extra portable snack and put it in my pocket in case I feel like I can't make it to the next stop. I remember on my first Pan Ohio, I filled half of my suitcase with bars and gels and things like that, and I never used any of it. And even now on Pan Ohio, I'll eat a snack, put a snack in my pocket, and I get to the end of the day and I have a pocket full of snacks I never ate. So no shortage. And yeah, there's some good suggestions for GPS, Garmin's, Wahoo's, whatever you prefer. Yeah, experienced riders, keep those suggestions going in the chat. That's awesome. So with that, you know, if you are interested in a shorter day, let's talk about the Pan Ohio Express and the transportation captain. Alyssa, what if I signed up for the Pan Ohio Express and actually like I'm riding half days? How do I do that? Or let's say I thought I was riding the whole day, but I'm having a rough morning and by lunch I'm just not really feeling it. What do I do?
So the beauty of the Pan Ohio Express is if you signed up for it and you are having a really strong day and you decide you don't want to use it, you can keep going and keep riding on your own. You're not held to that Pan Ohio Express. Say you didn't sign up for the Pan Ohio Express, but you're struggling and you're like, I just can't make it past lunch today. It's too hot, or I'm really struggling. Like, you can actually still take the Pan Ohio Express. It's okay. You just have to understand that Pan Ohio Express only has one endpoint, and that is the college, the daily finish line. So unlike a regular SAG where you can like jump ahead 2 stops, you know, and finish right into the daily finish line, you can't do that with the Pan Ohio Express. So the I'm sorry, the Pan Ohio Express is going to be every day, and you can, at the lunch stop, you're able to eat lunch, take your time. You're going to put your bike onto a Penske truck and you will get onto a shuttle bus, and that will take you directly to that college. So, you know, if you're riding Thursday and you take the lunch bus, you'll get on at the Valley City lunch stop and you will go directly to the College of Worcester, and your bike will meet you there. And then the next day, say you don't want to take the lunch bus, you can ride the full thing. It's all good. You don't have to let us know. If you were signed up in advance for the lunch bus, that's when you'd let us know, like, hey, I'm not going to take it, if you can. If not, it's not the end of the world. We just don't want to like lose someone that we're expecting. But again, our SAG crew is amazing and knows where everyone is all the time. But yeah, the lunch bus is new this year. We're really excited about it. And this is the best way that we could come up with to give people a taste of what Pan Ohio is, and get them into our Pan Ohio family. And hopefully either they want to do all 4 days one day, or maybe they just want to do the half day forever. And that's awesome too. We're just happy to have a new way to engage more members of our Pan Ohio family.
And it's a good way to, we have a new couple this year where he's riding the full days and she likes riding, but not that much. But she still wanted to join him for the ride. So she's doing half day option and he's doing full days and they can still experience it together. So it's pretty fun.
I have a
couple-
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I decided to do the Pan Ohio Express. I get to lunch. I put my bike on the Penske truck. Then what happens to it?
Like at lunch,
No, what happens to my bike?
like if you read the Pan Ohio Express, yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Oh.
Penske get to the college and lovely volunteers and or probably Bob will very carefully unload it off of that truck and place it in bike storage.
So I don't see my
This is
bike
the
again
usual,
until the
see Your
morning.
bike again until morning.
Okay.
Unless
what if
you-
I want
unless
to?
you-
Well, what
Bike
if I
storage
want
is
to?
open, so yeah, note about the end of the day, daily bike storage will be open with people at the, staying there to watch bikes. From the time riders start coming in around noon until about 6 p.m. Once we know all riders in and all bikes are in there, it will be securely locked overnight. So if your bike was on the Penske truck because you took the Pan Ohio Express and you needed to get something off it or grab,
Or
maybe you need to grab your lights because you need to charge them overnight so they're
maybe
ready
you
for the
decided
next
to take
day.
it because
Yeah, you
there
can
was
do
a
that.
piece that needed to be repaired and Chet didn't have the equipment to repair it at lunch. You might need to get it afterwards,
So,
get that part.
and yeah, I think Randy's got a good point with the alerts and reminders that, you want to take a sip every 5 minutes or take a bite or something. A lot of the bike computers will set up alerts that'll tell you, hey, time to take a drink. To make sure my rule without having that is always if I see anyone around me take a drink out of their water bottle, I grab mine and do the same because that like someone in the group I'm riding with is taking a drink. Oh, okay, time to take a drink. I'll do that, and that kind of keeps me hydrated as well.
And
and
my rule is when I take a drink, I say drink.
To tell everyone else
Yeah.
and remind everyone
So
else.
That's a good one.
Which is a thing that we do in Pan Ohio is looking out for each other, like watch each other and take care and make sure everyone else around you is hydrating as well. And not just water, there's been some good advice in the chat about electrolytes. We do tend to have water and Gatorade. If you prefer other electrolytes, we recommend you bring it, whether that's Scratch or Noon tablets or whatever your preferred electrolytes are. I usually have one bottle that's just water and the other bottle that's Gatorade or some other kind of electrolyte mix. Because when you're out there for long days, you need it.
And we may have limited flavors on Gatorade. We try to keep it to the neutral, orange or green. So if you don't like those,
Variety.
we cannot promise that we will have a flavor that you like. So
Yeah.
bring it on. Yeah.
And great advice from Zach that especially if it's raining while we're rolling through the Holmes County trailer during Amish
Mm.
country, you might want to wipe off the lid of your water bottle before
Yeah.
you take a drink out of it. So there is a section of Holmes County where we're on the Holmes County Trail, which is a shared use trail with bicycles and buggies. Usually fine if it's dry because the droppings from the horses are solid, but if it's rainy, sometimes they make little puddles and if you roll over them, they might splash. Bob, what do we do if it's rainy and we get poop all over our bikes all day? What happens when we get to Westerville and our bike's a mess?
Well, I think you should clean your bike. And we will actually have bike cleaning stations set up this year. Last year we did an ad hoc bike cleaning and it seemed to go over well. It was very well received. Chris and I did that. Since we will have transition racks, we plan on setting 1 or 2 of those up so that we can hang bikes and you can hose them down. If we have enough volunteers, we will absolutely help take over and do the bike spray down and wipe off. If you're like me and you have a specific lubricant you like, if your bike is going to get washed down, make sure you've got your own bike lube. Just something to think about because we really don't want to get bearings fouled or chains rusted. So, but we will take care of you. We will make sure your bike is clean and poop free or as close as possible.
I think that's the refrain of the day. We will take care of you. Another question about pickle juice. Yeah, we typically have pickle juice available as well if that's your thing. We try to have a big variety of stuff. So whatever your thing is, hopefully we have it. And then yeah, fruit. Some of the stops will have fresh fruit. It's a lot of variety. One thing about the lunch stop that I don't know if it came up, in addition to the Pan Ohio Express, if you just want a SAG, like maybe not the rest of the day, but you're like, hey, I'm not done writing for the day, but I want to catch up a little bit and I just want to skip ahead a little bit and you need to talk to SAG. At the lunch stop, there is a transportation captain. So one of our SAG volunteers will be wearing an orange vest and they will be coordinating the SAG rides with the Pan Ohio Express as well out of lunch. So if you get to lunch and you feel like you want to ride or you need a little help for the day, you can either find the Pan Ohio Express manager or the transportation captain and they will help you out. For the most part, you have all day to ride your bike, but are there any other specific things? Leanne, can you tell us a little bit about our cutoff days?
Yes, I can. Pardon me. There are 2 days when we ask you to try and finish up by a certain time. It's day 3 ahead of the recognition dinner or recognition celebration. And day 4 going into the final finish line in Cincinnati. We ask riders on day 3 to finish by 5. If you're not through the last water stop by 4, you will be asked to SAG to Wright State. This will allow both you and our volunteers enough time to get refreshed and cleaned up and shower and stuff before the fancy dinner, as I like to call it. The fancy dinner, the recognition event, is a pretty big deal. People dress nicely at varying levels, whatever they consider nicely. You know, for some people, that's a nice pair of shorts and a polo. For other people, it's, you know, a little fancier than that. It's up to you, but it's a very nice sit down dinner that we all do together. So we want everybody to have a chance to get cleaned up and refreshed before they go over there. And then on Sunday, we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to freshen up on the shower trucks, which if you have never experienced that is something interesting. We don't make you get on the bus to ride 4 hours in your sweat and stink. You can use the shower truck and get cleaned up, have something to eat, and board the buses in a casual, leisurely manner. So we're asking riders to finish by about 3:30. If they're not through the last water stop by 2, they'll be sagged forward. And I believe they'll be sagged to the staging area, as far as we know, to the staging area, right? So they can ride in on their own.
About that later. I just,
Yeah. Yeah, so you can still ride in that last mile or so into Eatman's Cove and enjoy the cheers and all of that. But we do want to make sure that everybody gets there in time to clean up and have something to eat and get on the bus and make sure your luggage gets on the bus and all of that.
So yeah, other than that, you know, we want this to be your ride. We've talked about having riders of all abilities, you know, days 1 and 2, we'd like you to, you know, I think if it's getting dark, we'll probably have to have words, you know, you don't want to do that anyway. You don't want to miss the evening activities, but for the most part, we don't have a cutoff time on days 1 and 2, but on days 3 and 4, we want to be respectful of everyone else's time, like Leanne said. So just plan accordingly. You'll have the routes, you'll see the mileage. If you need to leave earlier to make sure you can comfortably get there in time, that's cool. And then other things to think about while we're out on the route. Daryl, do you want to talk about any reasons we might have to temporarily stop the ride?
Well, you mentioned days 1 and 2 where we don't have a regular cutoff, but the last couple of years, if you were with us, you know that days 1 and 2 were brutally hot and humid the last couple of years, with a little bit of wind as well. We're trying to have a more formalized cutoff system when the heat gets to a dangerous level. So we'll get into that in a little bit more detail now, but you can find that in your guidebook already. We've had other weather circumstances that have caused us to hold everybody. 2 years ago, we had a big shelf cloud weather system that came through right before lunch where people had to hole up in some barns. Those are the types of things. Usually they're just stay in place until you get further orders things. We haven't had a full route closure since 2016.
Happened one
2016.
time in Pan
Yeah.
Ohio history. It was
Yeah.
2016.
And let's hope it never happens again.
Yeah.
But we are prepared for it if it does.
And it was extreme heat, and we have criteria, again, it's in your guidebook, based on the US Armed Forces recommendations on when outdoor activity should stop based on the wet bulb globe temperature.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, if you see that and you see that it's 90 degrees, don't freak out that it's over 90. That is not the same as air temperature.
Right.
Wet bulb globe temperature, like, is a combination of
It's a number of
away.
things. It's the direct sun temperature, it's the in the shade temperature, it's the sun angle, it's the UV, it's
the cloud
it's a
cover,
formula,
it's a
formula
formula.
is a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I guess, the only thing I'd say that obviously we want everyone to ride. We want to keep you riding. We will do everything we can to keep you riding, but if more than wanting you to ride, we want you to be safe. So, we do have cutoffs on dangerous heat levels.
Mhm.
And it's not even just about riders, it's about our volunteers being outside as well. So, we have a flag system. If you get to a stop and you see a flag's green, great, enjoy the day. If it's yellow, maybe use a little more caution, take more frequent breaks, hydrate more frequently. If you see a red flag, that means there's probably something temporarily where you should stop. That's maybe that dangerous thunderstorm, that lightning. Try to take shelter. If you're not at a stop, try to get in someone's barn or garage. We've had people on porches and barns and garages. Most people are super cool with letting you take temporary shelter if there's a thunderstorm with crazy lightning or wind or rotating clouds coming through. Take shelter, and we'll let you know when it's all clear. And again, it's only happened once in history. We hope it never happens again. But if we have to cancel the course, it's for everyone's safety.
Well, and we've all just endured a heat wave, and I was paying attention to this criteria this past week, and it only went into the black a couple of times, but it did go into the black. And I just want to reiterate, if you're a rider, you're out on your bike, you're getting natural cooling from the wind, you're hydrating, you're doing all those things, and that's great. But we do have volunteers that are just standing, usually adjacent to the sun if they have some shade. Hopefully they're usually near the grass, which can increase the humidity levels. It's brutal. So we don't just do this for the rider safety, we do this for the volunteer safety. So if we do have to stop you and you get upset because you feel like you can continue riding, that might be valid. But if we had to pull all of our volunteers in the middle of the day, you wouldn't have any support for the rest of the ride. So
bottom line, every now and then there are other temporary things, like the police have a road closed because there was an accident and it's going to be cleared up in 15 minutes and we might ask you to stay at a stop. You might receive instruction while you're on the course. We will try to have everything planned ahead of time, but we will have volunteers. They're going to be having orange event t-shirts on. So everyone's going to get their event t-shirts. Your rider t-shirts are going to be gray with some blue and red on them. If you see someone in a version of that t-shirt that's orange, that is an official event volunteer. And if they are telling you something, it's coming from event leadership and it is a decision. So please be respectful, know that they're there to help and to keep us all safe, and make sure that you treat the volunteers with respect and pay attention to what they're saying. And we'll
yeah, and
get
if
everyone rolling as soon as possible.
right. And if it's a circumstances like that, like a couple of years ago, we had to hold everybody at a water stop because we were passing through a very small community where somebody got swatted and we had to stop. And I just want to say that during that time, we were all actively behind the scenes trying to find a reroute.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we'll have you stay in place, because we might actually be trying to reroute you around whatever the incident is.
All right. So any other questions about I think the other thing I wanted to touch on briefly, and Bob, maybe you can talk about this, not in super depth. We have a lot of resources in that guidebook about how to ride safely on the road and in groups. Bob, can you give us any, quick tips and or resources if you are used to riding by yourself and only on trails? Our route is a mix, some roads and some trails. So if you've never ridden on roads, you want to familiarize yourself with that. If you've never ridden in groups, you want to familiarize yourself with that. So Bob, any quick tips on that or resources so people know sort of the rules of roads and trails?
Sure. So one of the things that I always like to think of, especially on the trail with a group, is no more than 2 abreast, right? Because it's a little trail and you got to make sure that people coming the other way see you. One of the fatalities in the past 10 years in the bike trail was a head-to-head collision of bicyclists, which I thought was...
Not on Pan, Ohio, I want to say.
No, but my point is you need to be aware of who you are and where you are, but you also need to be aware of where somebody else is and their trajectory. And just like when they teach you to drive in high school, it's defensive on the bike trail. On the road, There's some really cool tools. I'm a fan of mirrors. And there's an even cooler tool called a Garmin Varia, which is a cool little radar that will alert you when there's a car within 140 meters of you. It'll show up on your watch or your computer. I'm a huge fan because if you don't know how to turn your head and look behind you while you ride, it's a terrible time to learn in a group because you'll turn left and you'll go left and you'll swerve into somebody coming at you or take somebody out. So I'd encourage you, if you're new and you haven't ridden a group, call your local bike store, find out when they have a group ride, see if it's appropriate speed and pace and distance for you, and get out and do one or two before you show up cold.
They're on sale on Amazon.
I was putting this in the chat, but yeah, not just Bob getting a kickback, but yeah, like my Garmin Varia, like literally the best thing we've ever bought. It's just nice because Bob's right. If you're not used to looking over your shoulder or even in a mirror, when you look that way, you're gonna drift
like
that way. So it's better if you don't have.
I lost mine somewhere in Utah, and now I need one.
Oh,
somewhere. But yeah, seriously, we've never had any like super serious incidents on Pan Ohio. So knock on all the things, because our riders are very courteous and very respectful. But yeah, learn the laws of Ohio. There are several resources in your guidebook. There's a link to ODOT's rules for riding on the road. There's a link to some, I think it's Ohio Cycling Federation's Smart Cycling. There's also a link to a Pan Ohio panel discussion we did. I think Randy was on that, Brent Evans was on that. Talking about a little bit more specific to Pan Ohio, how to ride safely. So actually, if someone wouldn't mind dropping a link to that enrichment series on rider safety that we did, it's a great resource that's even geared toward the type of riding we do in Pan Ohio, more than some of the generic resources. So we pride ourselves on having, an event that is safe, fun, and meaningful, and safe will always come first on that. And we've been free of major incidents for 17 years, and we plan to keep it that way. So we appreciate everyone doing their part to ride safely. That also includes, I just want to mention briefly, our route is a mix of roads and trails. Those trails mean they are multi-use paved trails that are shared by other trail users. There are a couple areas on our route that we're going to go through some very busy trails, particularly on Sunday afternoon on the Little Miami Trail. That might mean quite a lot of other pedestrians and slower cyclists or families or people walking their dogs and things like that. So at those times specifically, like we really need you to actually just slow down a little bit, not form any pace lines, and just be very courteous of the other trail users as well. So just familiarize yourself with how to ride appropriately in all those conditions. That'd be great. Any other questions? I'm going to pause there. Actually, I feel like that's kind of the end of the ride topic, and the rest of it is about what happens in the evenings. So maybe I'll just leave a little space if anyone has any other questions about how to get where they're going, who they're going to ride with, what their support they're going to get along the way, how to get help if they need it. Any other questions on that? And obviously, if you think of some later, feel free to reach out to staff. Awesome.
well, I have one.
Okay,
It's not
Daryl has a question.
gonna throw off the itinerary too much. In the past, we've used something called Life 360.
Okay.
It's an app that we ask everybody to download prior to the event. It does use GPS. It requires that your phone be fully charged and operating and connected to the network for it to work. And that's how SAG is able to actually see you on the route. We mentioned earlier that we're using something this year called What 3 Words. This is actually at the request of our SAG team. They've been using it at other events for the past year. They found it to be very helpful. I think it's going to be really helpful for all of us because it doesn't require that Life 360 thing. Do we want to? So
Let's put a
for one,
put a pin in that.
we're not going to worry about Life 360 this year. You don't have to download it. You don't have to keep it on your phone if you're not using it for anything else. But definitely download this What 3 Words.
Do we could show that now,
Yeah.
actually. All right, yeah, we're switch gears here. Leanne also just posted a link to the YouTube channel. It's actually during the pandemic when we couldn't meet in person, we started a series of virtual events and just had speakers on various topics. And they're actually really helpful information on training, on preparing, on hydrating and nutrition and safety and all that. They're pretty fun. So check out our YouTube channel. Leanne just dropped a link in the chat on that. And also great question while we're talking about route from Lori about alternate routes or challenge routes. We do have two. Randy's correct. On day 2, we have the very classic, well-loved Holmes County Road 6. Doesn't add a ton in miles, but it adds a good bit of fun, challenging hills, plus a lovely Yeti sculpture you can take a selfie by to make sure everyone knows you took the challenge route that day. One note on, and then also on day 4. So day 4 this year, we are going back to the Little Miami Trail, which we haven't done for several years, which means day 4 is largely all trail. If you prefer road and want to get off the trail for a while, there will be a challenge route on day 4, shortly after Xenia. What is it? Spring
Yeah, at
Valley?
Spring Valley, if you're familiar with the Little Miami Trail, obviously in a river valley. So at Spring Valley, we go up onto the ridge, come up behind the Caesar Creek Park, and then we come down back at Corwin
Yeah.
and rejoin the trail.
Yeah, so little chance to get off the trail for a segment. So, okay, so we're gonna do a little demo to show you about what 3 words here. Since we are going to use that instead of Life 360 this year. So let me share, actually here. Okay, I gotta get that queued up. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to share just yet.
Sorry, but we were talking about it,
Um,
so I figured we should close.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, let me just do this. It's gonna do the weird double screen share for a sec. All right, I think I need to exit this. That's the problem. I have too many windows open. All right, you know what? We're gonna come back to this later. I will get queued up to share that later. But in the meantime, let's oh look, Randy's posting. Randy is saying, "Look at me! I did the challenge route. Here I am with the Yeti." Oh wait, that was. I see some. Yeah, lots of people in that. Super fun. If you do Holmes County Road 6, you can see that. All right. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on the evening stuff, but let's run through pretty quickly. What happens at the end of the day? Alyssa, when I get to campus and I get to my daily finish line, what do I do?
When you get to your daily finish line, what do? You get to do whatever you want. Let's see, there's lots of food and drink options. So every day we offer happy hour. So there's hard and soft beverages. I'm just learning, yeah, I guess hard and soft, yeah, soft drink, yeah, hard and soft beverages. And lots of snacks. And then we just happen to roll into dinner. So every evening we obviously have a full dinner option at the colleges. It kind of depends on what the college offers. Sometimes we have lots of choices, and sometimes we have, a little bit less limited, but no matter what, the food's delicious. We have all the dietary restrictions covered. We spend a lot of time making sure that everybody's going to have something that they like to eat at our dinners. And then after dinner, we usually have another happy hour or social event that we do. So there's more drinks, hard and soft beverages, along with more snacks. And some people want to go to bed early, and that's great. And other people want to stay up and have a great time and party with all their friends. My only recommendation and request is that there are no running races in flip-flops in parking lots after lots and lots of beverages. Chicken, that is going out to you. So as long as we don't have that, we're good to go. We ask that everyone just, is respectful of the college campuses that we're at. And that's in any regard, not just with having a good time in the evenings, but just being respectful, leaving things nicer than when we came. But yeah, so end your day, go to bed, have fun, and get ready to do it all again in the morning. Oh, but also, I'm sorry, when you get to the college campuses, we have recovery zones. That's probably what you were going for. That's important too. We're really lucky to have some incredible sponsors, NovaCare and Up and Running, who provides the TheraBody, the squeezy leg massagers that all of you have come to know and love, are available each evening, as well as NovaCare, which does the stretching. So we have stretching, a company that comes and does stretching for you, as well as the massaging leg squeezers.
Leave out one very important thing.
Compression boots, that's it.
Yes, You did leave out one very important thing. I get to the finish line, I turn in my bike. Before I go off and get a hard or soft beverage, what do I need to do?
Check in.
Get my key that
Get
I'm
your
not.
room key. Yeah. So again, every college has high fives too, obviously, and listen to all the cowbells of everyone cheering you in. But yes, get your room key. So every college has its own check-in process. So again, make sure you refer back to the guidebook. We do send communication each day with reminders, so you know what's happening when and where it's at. But yeah, just be sure to check where registration is. But every day you'll come in, you'll park your bike, and the signs will be showing you exactly where to go. So you'll get your room key, and then you can go right to your dorm after you find your luggage, which typically we have sorted numerically by bib number.
Yeah, and it'll either be probably in the lobby of your dorm or nearby there. So, yeah. And again, Thursday and Friday are pretty casual. Worcester is pretty casual, and Friday at Otterbine's pretty casual. It is the fourth Friday in Westerville, so if you want to go down to the festival there in Otterbein, you can. And then Saturday evening, Leanne also already spoke to it a little bit. The reason we have that course cutoff time on Saturday is because we would like for everyone to attend our evening recognition celebration. And that is going to be really special this year. You know, we're going to be honoring Jim Bond's memory this year. We're going to share more about that later. We're going to be honoring Kicking the Asphalt Out of Cancer for their amazing accomplishment of hitting the Hero of Research Award level last year. We're going to have some really cool speakers and just celebrate. You know, I think Daryl likes to talk about doing all the fundraising and doing all the work, and we get to the weekend of the bike ride, and that is your reward for everything you've done. And Saturday night is our celebration of everything you've done. So I do hope everyone will join us at Wright State University for a really phenomenal dinner and celebration Saturday nights. And then going into Sunday, I know, you know, Leanne kind of mentioned this as well. The reason we have a cutoff time on Sunday is so that everyone can get to that finish line celebration and enjoy that, and the shower trucks and all that, and the food there. But I did want to talk about that last segment of route. Hotels. Yeah, good question. Thank you, Stephen. So we'll have hotel luggage, depending on, it's a little bit different at different campuses, depending on where the shuttle stop is. So it'll either be there near where check-in is or where the shuttle stop is, where the shuttle is going to pick you up to take you to the hotel. We try to minimize the amount of distance you ever have to carry your luggage. So if you're checking into a dorm, your luggage will be in the lobby of your dorm. If you're camping, your luggage will be near where the camping is. If you're hoteling, it'll be as close as possible. You know, depending on where that hotel shuttle stop is, it'll either be with the camper's luggage or near the shuttle stop. So, and yeah, there will be signs everywhere and people directing you around. So yeah, as far as air conditioning,
What color
the
shirt?
event says July 9th. Oh yeah, okay. Looking at Zach's message. Oh yeah, hard and soft beverages, Tuesday, July 7th. Is it the 7th or the 9th? We'll confirm that, but I love that Zach posted that with his team's fundraisers. If you have any other team fundraisers, please let us know. We also have those posted on our website. If you want to look and see what other teams are doing, we share that, and we love it when people go out and support each other. So July 9th, go check out the Cool Cats at Masthead Brewing. What were you
I just
gonna
want to
say?
reiterate, what color shirt will the know-it-alls be
The
wearing?
volunteers wear orange shirts.
Okay. If you have a question, if you can't find your luggage, if you forgot your key and it comes out of your pocket at an unexpected time, any of those times, look for an orange
Yeah.
shirt. It'll look like your shirt that came in your package, except it'll be orange instead of.
And I think that's a good segue into what I was going to share before. That is also a good use, by the way, of the information number. We said we have those two phone numbers, one for SAG emergencies or you need help while you're on the route, and then the info line because I'm at the campus and maybe my key doesn't work or I'm not sure where I'm going. That's a good time to call or text the info line. So with that, I want to share something that we're working on, and I will give it the big caveat that this is a work in progress. So Pan Ohio Info Center, this is at panohio.info, and I'm actually going to say this looks better on mobile. So this is a website that's really designed to be a good mobile optimized website that you can pull up on your phone for navigating around campus. So it's a lot of a work in progress right now, but basically, what,
We're double.
that's fine.
Oh,
Panohio.info will have links to everything you need to do. So if you kind of look at this, like maybe I want the daily info. Okay, it's under construction right now. I'll show you what'll be there, but I want to contact somebody. Here's the contact info. You can email, text, or call right from this website. And then if you want to find something, the content that's going to be on there is going to look roughly like this, where I'm like, hey, where the heck is bike storage? Where do I go? You can click on this list to bike storage, and this will open, if you're on your phone and have the What 3 Words app downloaded, a What 3 Words location. So if you don't have the app, it will take you to what3words.com. I'm going to switch this to satellite view, and you can see, like we were talking about before, What 3 Words breaks the world up into these 3 meter by 3 meter squares. So it can pinpoint not just at Dolan Science Center, but exactly where you need to be over here. And if on my phone, I can then like click on Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever, and it will navigate me directly to where I want to go. So if I'm saying, hey, I want to know where the start line is, I can click on start line and it will say, okay, you want to go to right there, right in front of Dolan Science Center. So I think that will be a helpful tool for you to navigate around during the event. If you go to PanOhio info, right now, there is a page about What 3 Words. So if you go from the homepage and click on this navigation to points of interest, if you want to take a look at this as a preview, there you can download the app, and there are some videos from What 3 Words on how to navigate to an address, how to find your own What 3 Words address. Daryl, do you want to walk through that a little bit?
sure. Do I want to do the fun
Do you
scenario?
want to do the fun scenario?
Fun scenario.
Maybe. Let me do this. All right, so
If you're unlike Life 360, I don't know if anybody else uses it, but I always delete it the day after PanOhio's over. This, however, is an app that you can use for all sorts of things. So when you first open it up, you're going to see this screen, which by default takes you to New York City Hall. But let's say I have a friend that's never been to the Hope Lodge in Cleveland before, and I want to show her around. So go here, type in what you're looking for. And a slow typer on someone else's computer. Hope Lodge. There it is. And you can even go over here and click to a satellite view. Now we're coming from different locations, so I know I'm going to get there a little bit earlier. And I know that across the street at the museum, there's this line of trees and some park benches. So I'm actually going to say, hey, meet me right here. That's the exact park bench where I want to meet. Then you say share, copy, and then
and I will say from your phone, you'll notice at the bottom here, there's email, SMS, like you can actually just hit SMS and open a text message to someone if you do this on your phone instead of on a laptop.
Sure. And then if I email or text to that person,
Won't do it now.
I won't do it now because I don't know if it's there.
Yeah, if you email it to them, they will get a message with that link that shows exactly where you are. So this is what we mean to, like, let's say I don't want to navigate to somewhere. I don't have location settings on my laptop, so that won't work now. But if I were on my phone and I had location settings, I can also say, okay, show me the location where I am right now.
Yeah.
And it will pinpoint your location, and that's the link you want to send to the SAG team when you call them, and the 3 words you want to give to the SAG team so they know exactly where to find you.
And when you have the app downloaded to your phone, it will recognize all of your different navigation apps, Waze, Google, Apple, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it should
whatever you
recognize
use.
all of them. And we'll open those and actually give you the turn-by-turn directions that you're used to seeing. And it also has a compass in it that's like a native to the app if you want to just wayfind like a mariner in there.
So obviously this doesn't replace anything. You still have your
Right.
guidebook with addresses, and we will still have campus maps available. At check-in, we will have some printed campus maps if that's your jam and you want a piece of paper. That's fine. We still have all this, but this is another tool to help you find your way around. And it is what we would like, if possible, if you need a SAG, we would love it if you could provide your What 3 Words
Yeah.
location.
It's not going to drain your battery. It's not going to
Yeah.
take up a lot of space on your phone, and it works even if you don't have cell service As long as you have GPS, it works. So,
And then watch Pan Ohio info, right now, if you go look at it, most of the pages, just weren't looking super pretty yet, so we've got them hidden, but in the coming weeks, all of the information for everything you need there. And if there's some, like Daryl said, it's a good way too, if you just want to tell your team,
yeah.
hey, before dinner, we're meeting at this spot, you can
Yeah.
pick your thing and send it to your team, and now all your team knows where you're
We're
gonna
going to JFB.
Yeah.
Where's JFB? You can tell them.
tell them.
You can even tell them what table you're sitting at.
So more to come on that. Any questions on that? And again, like Alyssa said, just never hesitate to ask someone. Orange volunteer shirt, veteran riders, everyone's always super helpful. And happy to help you find your way and get you where you need to go. Don't ever feel like you're on your own out there. With that, last thing I guess we wanted to mention, do we want to talk about day 4 staging area? Daryl?
Absolutely. Well, do we want to talk completely about day 4 staging?
Yeah, I think so.
We are constantly monitoring the route. Part of that's like an actual in-person route check, and part of that is basically a virtual route check. I conducted a virtual route check today, which is using all of the software that I have at my disposal, and I discovered that there's a road closure that's going on for the next 3 months that actually happens right in front of LeBlanc Rec Center, where we were planning on having our staging area. Says that bike access will not be restricted, but car access will be restricted. So we're going to be checking this out in a couple of weeks. We also are going to reach out to all of our local, like Stephen, if you're still,
Sergeant
you're still
Gibson's
on.
getting a call tomorrow.
We're going to call Sergeant Gibson tomorrow. We're going to do everything to make sure that we can do that. So our escort from LeBlanc might be a little modified, but we're going to go back to that. Now, it's not going to be required like it has been in the past, but it's also not going to be, we'll have no escort or we'll have no staging area like we've done the last couple of years. It'll be an optional staging area, but it will function the same way that it has in the past. So if you want to ride in with a group, or you want to just ride in with other people, or you want to ride in with your team, LeBlanc is available for you. And we will go out and we'll probably have a bike escort. At least we'll have a bike escort. I don't know if we've decided whether we'll have
Yeah.
a vehicle escort.
Probably some of us, I mean, it depends on whether or
Yeah.
not we can have vehicle traffic
Yeah.
on the road at this point.
But just to reiterate, this is not a mandatory stop. So if you get to LeBlanc and you're just tired or you're hungry or whatever, or you're meeting somebody at the finish, feel free to keep on riding. You don't need to stop there. Nobody's going to make you stop there.
Yeah, but it's fun. I think
Yeah.
that's something that people have missed, is that big group feeling coming
Sure.
into the finish line. So if
And
you
it
want to
gives-
be a part of a group,
Yeah.
there's a place where you can stop a couple miles out, group up.
Yeah, and
we'll
it gives
travel
everyone at the
together.
finish line an opportunity to get their cameras ready and get their cowbells ready
Yeah.
and know that a big group is coming in. So you get a little bit more of a celebration as you cross the finish line now.
So Bob, once I get to the finish line, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where do I put my bike? Where do I find my luggage? What do I do? I've crossed the finish line. I've made it. Now what?
Well, if you're me, the first thing you do is you look for somebody to take your bike. So realistically, the first thing I'm going to do is look for the signs or a volunteer or a staff person to say, hey, where's bike storage? Because even though there's signs all over that will tell you where bike storage is, and there will probably be people saying bike storage is over there. I understand being,
Day 4, it's a truck.
Yeah.
yeah. So I missed that. What'd you say?
Finish line though, it's not storage anymore. You got to put your bike on the
Oh, we're finish line.
Well, let me
It's
just
okay,
set
you're
the-
tired.
Let me set the scene. for you.
Sorry.
Coming across the finish line, you pull off to the side, someone's put a medal around your neck, you've done the obligatory pose where you lift the bike over your head. Now you need to get rid of your bike.
You take the bike to the proper truck where there will be friendly volunteers to load said bike on the truck. And it's important to know that the trucks are going to go to the various locations. So make sure, if you're not sure and there's not a sign on the truck that says this truck going to your house, that you ask the friendly volunteer, where's this truck going to take my bicycle? And they'll say, oh, you live in Cleveland, not your truck. And so get rid of your bike. Hopefully you've got shoes somewhere, and you grab your gear and go down to the shower truck. hose yourself off. It's nice to finish and it's nice to be clean. Then go get some chow. There's all kinds of food. It'll be delicious. And finally, what do you want to go to the bus?
Bob, I gotta interrupt. Is my luggage that has my towel and my flip flops at the where I drop off my bike, or is this in a different place?
It's generally in a different place. It's going to be under a bridge, probably not with homeless people under a bridge, just under a bridge organized by rider number. That way you can get to that and you can get to your luggage. You can break that out. Last year we had it close to the showers, which was nice, so that you could put your bike up, wander down to the luggage, which should be very well organized, and grab your shower gear, take a shower, go back, put your dirties and your dirty clothes in your bag, because everything's going to get washed when you get home anyway. And then wander down and find listen to the loud music. Find that'll guide you to the food as well. So food and music. And then after you're all done with that, you can head to the proper bus. Very important. I said proper bus.
Correct bus. Now, not to like, I mean, I'm gonna toot my own horn, or toot what 3 words is horn. You've dropped off your bike at the truck, and now you're trying to figure out where this bridge is. And it's the city of bridges, as we all know. If you've ever been to Cincinnati, there's bridges everywhere. What 3 words will direct you straight to where those shower trucks is? You'll go to the right bridge.
Here, we can,
I am very blown away by how cool the interactive Pan Ohio
so
app
where's the bike
is.
truck? Where's the finish? Where's the
Shower
shower truck? I'm gonna
trucks,
open that, and
Yeah.
I think I didn't share all the windows, but it'll,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, I
It'll be-
shared only one screen
be
instead
under
of
the
all the
purple-
windows. That's
Yes.
not sharing.
But it'll be under the purple people bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work in progress. More to come on that, and we'll provide some more directions through email and social media on how to use and how to navigate that. But yeah, at that point, stop, celebrate, enjoy some food and some more lovely hard and soft beverages, and celebrate a job well done.
And just to reiterate, you can go old school at Pan Ohio. You can just ask somebody. We're all friendly. We'll get you to the right place.
Orange shirts.
orange shirts.
They're marmalade, right? Is that what we went with? Marmalade?
Is it marmalade, Alyssa? Marmalade.
So we say orange.
Marmalade.
Surprised when we see them in person, as you will. But it'll be an orange hue.
Does anyone have any questions about the flow of the event? And obviously, if you have more questions later, there's still plenty of opportunity to ask them, but hopefully that gives you a little taste of what it's going to be like if you're new. Thank you to all the returning writers that have joined or dropped some good tidbits in the chat. I'm going to pop back over here for a sec. Oh, there's my what 3 words on the Purple People Eater bridge.
Purple people eater.
It's the Purple People. This is what I clicked on when I went to shower trucks. That's where the luggage will be, actually, or the shower
Yeah, the
trucks.
shower trucks are usually
Under the
parked
Purple
on-
People Eater bridge.
Now we will, if locations of things like this change, we'll do our best to update the app in real time, so that way it takes you to the correct bridge. But we anticipate that.
So with that, I want to pop back on over to our slideshow and just make sure, if you do not see these, like I said, they are in the guidebook, but I recommend you right now just take a moment and put those in your phone. The POHR information line, which you can call or text, which is to say, hey, which dorm am I in? Or hey, this key's not working, or what time was dinner, or any sort of information you need about the wheres and the whats. Non-emergency things more likely to be in the evening when you're on campus. That is your information line. Call it or text it, and one of the amazing staff members will get back to you. And then the emergency SAG request number. Please note that number cannot be texted. Please call that only. That is if you are out on route and you're like, hey, I got a flat tire and I don't know how to fix it and no one's around to help. Or, hey, I'm really hot and I need a break and I need a ride, or whatever reason you need some help. Or, hey, I think I'm lost. I haven't seen anyone in a sign for a while. Call that SAG request number. There will also be links to those on that panohio.info site. So, but I definitely recommend go ahead and save both of those numbers in your phone right now. And again, just wanted to share this really quickly, what to look for on the signs. I know we described them earlier. This is in your guidebook too, but again, red arrows, orange route arrow tape, or spray painted arrows with the letters PO. Other than that, we talked about this a little bit. We're, panohio.info. We will send more information about both panohio.info and What 3 Words once we get more of the information ready to roll on that. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, I think one of the cool things on that is on the Contact Us app. If you didn't see that already, if you are looking at that from your phone, it's hard to switch screens around on here. Exit that. If you are looking at that, well, plus this toolbar gets in my way. If you are looking at that on your phone and you go to the Contact Us tab, you can literally click on these. Like, I want to email Bob. I can click on that and it's going to open my preferred email to email Bob. Or if I'm on my phone, it's trying to open an SMS message now. It will directly text or call, whoever you want to call on that. So feel free to use that. Some other things in the chat. What else we got in the chat? Can't wait to see everyone. And then, I guess the last thing I wanted to mention tonight, hopefully you all saw my email the other day about Jim. Jim Bond, someone's very special. If you're new to Pan Ohio, you might be like, why are we talking about this Jim guy all the time? If you haven't already, I recommend you read the bio that was sent with the email last week or is posted on our website. Kathleen Bond was the founder of our event. Jim Bond was her husband. He's one of the most incredible people and most inspiring people I have ever met in my life. He was told that he had maybe a few months to maybe 3 years if all went well, and then lived and survived and thrived for 31 years after his multiple myeloma diagnosis, and just dedicated his life to helping other cancer patients and telling his story and sharing. When Kathleen dreamed up the idea for Pan Ohio, Jim was not a cyclist, but he's like, okay, I'm in. And he bought a bike and started training. He wore this big crazy hat because he was super susceptible to sunburn, long sleeves hat, his hybrid bike. He was one of those riders that rode probably honestly on the low end of 10, more like 8 to 10 miles an hour, and just persevered his way across the state every year. We did unfortunately lose Jim last December, and we just want to honor him. He was such a big numbers guy and was so proud of this event. Our event reached $1 million for the first time in 2019. And we thought we were there. And then obviously we all know what happened after that. The COVID came along, everything went virtual, everything took a big hit for a few years. And we have been on the rebound since then. And this is the year we want to rebound back to $1 million. So many people have just come to me or talked to me personally saying, we got to raise $1 million for Jim. We got to raise $1 million for Jim, $1 million for Jim, $1 million for Jim. So I'm excited to say that we're kind of on track on that right now. We're a little bit over $500,000 right now. And I looked at last year's numbers. It's not a big sample set. It's 1 year, but 50% of our fundraising happened in the last 4 weeks before the event or after the event. So we are at about the halfway point where we were toward last year's fundraising, which means we are on track to do it this year. And I appreciate every effort that everyone can make to just give a little extra push to honor Jim. And also, I didn't put this on the slide, but it was in the email that went out the other day. If you didn't see it, let me know. We're going to try to collect some stories. So if you knew Jim and have a story about a memory with Jim or just something about what Pan Ohio has meant to you, we'd love it if you would share that with us, either to panohioinfo@cancer.org or panohiohoperide@gmail.com. And we're going to put together some special stuff to share at the recognition celebration. So that's about all the formal content we have, formal, I use the word loosely. Does anyone else have questions, or if anyone wants to even come off mute and just chat and ask your questions, let us know. Staff and Daryl and I and some of the experienced writers will stick around for a while.
Yeah,
If you have other questions.
we'll do a couple minutes where we're recording and then we'll turn off the recording if you don't want to have it for posterity.
Oh, great question. Yes, volunteers. If you are a volunteer or you know people that are volunteering, we have a separate Zoom call for volunteer training. It is on July 9th, honestly, so we might have to figure out how to have that call from masthead now. So we can support the Cool Cats as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you know some volunteers, we are going to be doing a volunteer training call. There will also be a volunteer meeting for those that are with us for the 4 days at kickoff dinner. After the presentation, we'll have a brief meeting there as well. And we'll record it if you miss it. There will also be a volunteer version of the guidebook coming out within the next couple of weeks. So volunteers will get tons of information coming as well. I love that like total Clash cover album, Cool Cats graphic there. That's awesome. It's a little Clash vibe
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah, actually they messed up the Ramones one. That's the first one. I'll send the other one, but that might work for something. I saw some people making some other things last year, and I didn't know if I need to like get permission for it. So I haven't done anything with it yet. But is that are you allowed to do those things?
I mean, the Clash stole it from Elvis, so.
That's true. I have both those albums.
Oh, who cares?
But I mean, like with the Pan Ohio stuff, I don't know if I need like how all that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. We often have had, we could not as Pan Ohio, like Leanne can't design us something like with an ECS logo on it. But you're a team over there kind of doing your own thing.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, if it's not official, I don't know. I didn't want to like do it.
That's basically it. You're an individual doing it for charity. You can get away with it. We're a big charity. We can't. So no
Yeah.
one's going to come after you from their record label for you selling 25 shirts that you made with it.
for
Cool.
charity. Right?
Yeah, that's the updated Ramones one.
That's pretty sweet.
So I'm gonna try to get some links set up. I could maybe just email them to somebody if anyone, I don't know. We'll have some at Masthead. I know the Cool Cats one, that's probably just gonna be for us, but I mean, we can get more of them. But they want to make one to be more for the whole event that other people might be interested in too.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people do bring things. I think Brian Bortz is bringing some. Daryl and I may have some shirts too. Like a lot of people bring their own custom homemade shirts to kick off dinner and sell them throughout the weekend. Got some great Joy Machines team has done some great beer label knockoff
Yeah.
t-shirts over the last couple of years. I've got some old school ones too that Jim Bond, Jim and Kathleen's son Jim used to sell some great t-shirts. So
Someone had a High Life one last year. I thought was pretty cool.
yeah.
The
Totally fine.
caveat about bringing them is make sure you have someone who can take them away because you don't want to be carrying 25 t-shirts in your luggage for 4 days.
Just sell them all.
Yeah.
Well, ideally, but yeah, you want to make sure that if you have a bunch left over, you're not lugging them down the state and back. So
But yeah, get creative, and I think, we didn't talk about fundraising and all that tonight. If anyone has questions, in those, we have a month left. This is the time when a lot of people start fundraising. Back on the panel enrichment series, there are some panel discussions about fundraising ideas too. So, tonight we wanted to kind of focus around the logistics of the actual in-person event, but we have some panel discussions like this with great fundraising ideas too. Feel free to check those out on YouTube. I guess maybe we should touch upon, Alyssa. Is Alyssa still there? Her video's off. I don't know. Alyssa, if you're still there, can you talk about just the fundraising commitment and the recommitment deadline?
Yes, I can. So sorry.
Good.
Yeah, so we are asking, well, first of all, every amount that you guys have fundraised up until now is incredible. We are definitely ahead year over year. And like right now we are at $508,000 and definitely on par to hit that $1 million, which is super incredible. Yeah, which is amazing. Like Leanne is pulling numbers rapid fire every single day, and it's absolutely incredible. I'm definitely not a numbers girl, and she's got it, and it's amazing. So our recommitment date, I'm so sorry, I'm trying to find so I don't give you the exact wrong date, because I have a million dates coming at me from every direction. Stacy, Leanne, do you have it right in front of you? I'm so
it's
sorry.
tomorrow. Recommitment date is the 25th, 1 month from the start date.
Watch
It is
your-
tomorrow.
If you are already at your minimum of 1328, you're awesome. Cool. If you're not there, you can email tomorrow saying, hey, you're at this level, and that's cool because we got a month left, so plenty of time. And actually, this is a question that comes up from new riders a lot too. What if we get to kick off morning and you're not there yet? Like, that's okay too. You actually have until August 31st to raise the funds. So we are not gonna pull you from the finish line and say you can't ride. Like, we're on the honor system here. We are not an event that takes your credit card number. We will never charge you for the balance if you don't make your minimum. But we are asking you to commit to saying, I'm going to raise this minimum by August 31st. To ride. So it's totally okay if you're not there by event day too. And you know, if you feel like wow, this is way harder than I thought, and I don't think I can even hit it by the end of the August, then we can talk about options. You know, like the 1 and 2 day commitment is lower, but we can also we'd rather give you help and tips to help you get there. If you're on teams, a lot of teams usually will help team members get to that minimum as well. But if you're not there yet, you'll probably see an email tomorrow with the level where you are right now, so you know how far you have to go, and we'll just ask you to say, yep, I'm still in, I'm still committed, I will hit that minimum of 1328 by August 31st. So
And if you aren't part of a team, reach out to staff or us, and we'll get you connected with the teams in your area.
yeah,
Teams always love to have new members, and they always are very helpful.
any other questions? Leanne, you want to talk about like incentives too a little bit while we're talking about fundraising? We have some great incentives you can earn too.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far down the path, but it's a good thing to mention.
Yeah, what we do is earn points throughout the year for fundraising, for bringing people to recruiting, for bringing people to socials. For this event, attending this event, you get incentive points. And then at the end of the year, you can use those incentive points to buy to buy branded items of your choice. We have a lot of great things, sweatshirts and t-shirts and mugs and things like that you can purchase. We also recognize all of our Dynamo fundraisers who raise more than $5,000 with a special jersey. That's a form of an incentive for if you're working towards that. So yeah, lots of good stuff. We opened the store for a short time this spring, and some people got to see the preview, and if they had some points, they could spend it. So.
And I would say if you're close to getting a Dynamo threshold level of 10,000?
5.
No, but 10,000. At Worcester,
Oh, the beacon.
we will have
Dynamo
a
beacons, yeah.
special dinner. Do we have
Dessert. We have a special
Dessert.
oh,
It's a cake and champagne
I'm
reception.
sorry, it's not dinner,
Yeah.
but it's cake and champagne
Yeah.
and
Special
photo
guests
and a special guest that is CBD.
to be named later.
Yeah. So fundraising during the event. Don't let up on your fundraising if you want to get those special little things.
So to Zach's question, the store won't be open again to order, but we do have some of the cycling apparel in stock. So we will be bringing some of the merch to kickoff dinner. If you want it, like if you're talking about need to buy stuff like cycling shorts or socks or gloves or things like that, that is stuff we have in stock. So the other embroidered apparel and stuff like the hoodies and the pullovers and stuff to order. But we do have the cycling apparel in stock. We will have it at kickoff dinner. If you need it sooner, just reach out to staff and they can make arrangements to get it to you sooner.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks.
Great question. So yeah, again, like anything that's the primal cycling wear, the shorts and socks and gloves and arm warmers and whatnot. Any other questions? I know we're
Yeah.
almost up to 9 o'clock. Again,
Yeah.
happy to stay as long as anyone still has questions.
Or
but-
is it time for real talk off?
Time for- Well, thanks for joining everyone tonight. We're gonna go ahead and stop this recording. Really appreciate it. Super looking forward to seeing all of you next month. Where do I stop the recording? There it is.
Oh.
And we'll end the call.
And when.